Well, all right, here we go. I wanted to talk a little bit about my guitar and my setup here before we get started. I've got an Eric Clapton Fender Stratocaster here. And I fell in love with this guitar the very first time I played it. I bought it at a little funky shop in San Francisco called Real Guitars back in the late 80s, and I just loved everything about it, the feel of it. I think a Stratocaster is just a work of art. This particular one was designed by Eric Clapton, and it's got some things I wanted to talk about. I kind of made it my own. I did a little bit of customizing as I went on. But what I want to address right now is I was fortunate enough to spend the 90s touring in Europe. I was with a guy called Clarence Clemens from the E Street Band, Bruce Springsteen's band. And I was his musical director in the late 80s and early 90s. And he had some time off from Bruce's thing, and so I co-wrote a lot of the songs and sang and got a chance to tour the world and play the big stages with him. And it was really a valuable experience for me. And what that led to was later I went out on my own and recorded my first CD, and I got a record deal in Europe and ended up doing a lot of tours of Europe in the 90s. And one of the tours, incidentally, that I did, I'm used to touring with a four-piece band or bigger, and either keyboards, guitar, bass, and drums, or else two guitars, usually a four-piece. And it so happened that one of the tours I went on, it was a three-piece tour, okay, just three pieces. So I thought to myself, how am I going to get my guitar to be a little bit more full, a little more going on? So what I did was I went ahead and I did a series of acoustic pickups in the bridge here, and you can see I've got a volume knob over here that adjusts that. And so what you'll notice when you hear this, and I'm going to give you some examples of how it works, I have my regular sound, which is, my straight clean sound would be through my Fender, right? And here's a cleaner version of that. It's just a straight Strat sound, nothing to it. Sounds pretty good though, right? Well, now what I did was I'm able to run through this Fender Acoustasonic amp, and I've got my volume over here. I can get actually an acoustic sound. So it's kind of an interesting sound because I don't have to change to an acoustic guitar to get it. And what I can do is dial in my regular tone with it, so you'll see it gets fuller. Now I've got my regular amp in there. So you get acoustic and electric together, very full. So what that accomplished for me on that tour was I was able to get a very full sound. Now if you add that, a little overdrive to that with the acoustic sound, it gets even fatter. So I got a whole palette of sound going on. The other thing I have going on with this particular Strat is it has a mid boost. And instead of a tone control on the bottom, I can go from a straight ahead Strat sound, which is basically nice and clean. I can dial up a mid boost with this, and it becomes like a humbucker. I'll take the acoustic off, and you can hear what it sounds like. That's with no crunch at all. When I add crunch to that, it gets really big. So if you put all those things together with this particular guitar, I have an incredibly wide palette of sounds and tones that I can draw from. And what I'd like to show you right now, I'm going to build a little piece for you. And what this is it's a regular rock groove, kind of a 4-on-the-4 groove. I'm going to incorporate a clean Strat sound, which is right there, okay? That's through my Fender. I'm going to bring in a little bit of my acoustic sound. There's the acoustic sound. I'm going to blend them together, okay? And I'm going to play a 1-5-4 progression, and then I'm going to show you how I play a lead over that with this very sound. So check this out. It goes like this. Okay, so what you can see, what I did there was I played a solo, kind of a clean sounding solo with tremolo, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what I did right now. I might not get the notes just perfectly, but then again, this isn't a game of perfect, is it? It's rock and roll, so cool. So I'm going to dissect that solo a little bit for you. You'll notice I have my acoustic sound up. So here's the acoustic sound. And then I dial in a little bit of tremolo with overdrive, and it sounds like this. Okay, that's the opening lick. I'm gonna do that one more time. Then I hit a harmonic. And the second lick goes like this. Okay, I'm gonna do this whole lick slowly for you now. It starts with an open A. Okay, and here's the second part. Okay, then I repeat it. I'll do that one more time. Let's drop down to D there, by the way. It's a D tuning. Okay? And from there I move up the neck. I'm using the D chord up here. It's a little bit like the Jimi Hendrix stuff I showed you earlier. We're working off a D chord. There are two string passages, okay? The D and the G string. So you're going from an A to a B note on the D string. Then you hit your straight D chord here on the G and the B string. Then you hit a C position with a leading with an E note on the G string. Then right up to the D chord. Back to the D. And then the B note. Okay? Now, the rest of the stuff I did after that, I don't really remember because it's improv stuff. But I will give you one key lick that I did that I like to do. A little bit of a Dickie Betts on this one. If you've ever listened to the Allman Brothers, they did some great stuff. Dwayne Allman and Dickie Betts, great double guitars. I kind of got this lick from the Southern rock school of rock and roll. And it starts with a, I'm doing this with a pick, by the way. And I think I mentioned we're in D tuning, drop D. It's a nice full sound. So I'm gonna take off my tremolo for this part of the solo, okay? And I'm going to come up to the high D note, and I'm going to pull off the B note on the octave. Okay? And then I'm going to land on this F sharp note. And you'll recognize this from kind of an Allman Brothers. Very cool sound. So when you play that lick against this, creates tension because it sounds like this in slow motion. Okay? But when you speed it up, it's quite effective. So again, in slow motion, it's a nice little lick, and you can use that any time. In the key of D, this is always going to work. And then the other thing I do that really works in that high part of the solo, I go. kind of a nice lick. And you're just basically coming right off your D chord. two notes, the G string, and you're hitting an F sharp on the G string. And of course you're hitting your high D right here on your E string. So it starts out. Then you change positions and you're hitting a G on your G string, an octave, and you're hitting a high E on your E string. In exactly the same position, 2 frets up. So 1 fret up, and then up to the high D. What you've really gone there is you've gone from a D up here in the 3rd position up to the 4th position. That's a C, C sharp, and you end with a D. So you can see how those connect. I started out down here with this low D and a cowboy D, all right? And we started out with it's up to you how you want to go from the second half of the solo. You can go, as I did, from that middle D, and this is a little bit like what I showed you on the Hendrix part. I'm a big fan of 2-note runs like that. So incidentally, on the first half of the solo, you'll notice if you listen back, I've got my tremolo on, and it sounds very kind of creepy. Very fat, isn't it? Really fat sound. Of course, I've got my sparkly acoustic on the top. You blend in the tremolo with that. You've got a really full, very kind of mystical sound almost. So I like to use the tremolo in the first half of the solo. Of that. You can play with that, but as long as you're in this D position, you're going to find some great places to go around this. Of course, the classic country lick is. And if you want to make that one fancier and really work within the context of this D 1-5-4 progression, you can go to a high D, a less high D. So you can go. And then, of course, the country bend to that would be. Part of what makes this whole thing possible is that low D, though, because I'm playing a rhythm and it's really fat. AC-DC with it, I can back off my acoustic and get a little bit more into the overdrive, and it's going to sound something like this. Let's bring that down. If you want to get a little bit of U2 with it. Now I'm clean again. Back to the acoustic. Tremolo. More atmospheric, right? So basically we've gone from, I'm just showing the versatility of this particular way of setting up. And you can do this yourself with a Strat or a Tele or any guitar you've got. You can put an acoustic pickup in here. This is the, I guess you would call this the secrets of, the trade secrets of what I've discovered about spreading your sound out and making a really interesting blend. You saw how many places we went from that. We started out with an acoustic sound, right? So it was basically, I'm going to pull my regular amp out. We started with a very simple, just an acoustic sound. Almost sounds kind of folky, right? Then we eased in a clean electric. Right? Then we brought in a little tremolo. And then we brought in some overdrive.
My friend Jimmy has the coolest guitar lessons. Go to jimmydillon.com/free and get all your amazing gifts. He's the best. Roll! Rock and roll! Stay awesome and rock and roll!
Thank you so much for watching this lesson. Make sure you check out all the links in the description below where you can get free gifts and access to more lessons.